Hello everyone, in this particular video I'm going to show you how to perform pairwise correlation or correlation matrix in Stata. Don't forget, in the first video I introduced you to multicollinearity test. I explained what multicollinearity is, why multicollinearity issue is very important or why it must be addressed, and also I identified the methods or approaches that can be used to check for multicollinearity issues in Stata. And the first one I mentioned is variance inflation factor or tolerance. And this particular one, I'm going to show you the second one, which is pairwise correlation matrix test. And please, in case you don't have access to the first as well as the second video, you can check our channel. Also, the description of this particular video, you will see the first video there. So now, the first thing you need to do, as I said earlier, is that you must import your data. You declare your data. Once you have done that, then you identify the dependence and independent variable. Please take note, when you are checking for multicollinearity issue, we are only focusing on the independent variables, because our focus is on the strength of the relationship between the independent variables. So here now you can see the code. This is the code. This is the command pwcor, and here we have the independent variables. We have the first variable, which is inflation, second nominal exchange rate, third prince, and the next one is WTI. And if you look at it, we see that I have two codes here. There's one without significance value, and the second one here we have the significant value. So here Stata will automatically start the one that is significant. But what I want you to take note is the correlation value. You understand? So now, to check for multicollinearity issues in the Stata using pairwise correlation approach, you just need to execute this code, then you execute this code. You can see now that we have inflation here, we have nominal exchange rates, we have Brent, we have WTI, we have the same set of variables here, and along the diagonal line you can see we have 111. You understand? So our focus is not this diagonal line. Our focus is this particular value, this one, this as well. So now, if you look at it very well, you will see that we have 0.5913 here. But before I interpret this or explain this further, let's look at the interpretation. So now, when you have a correlation matrix or correlation value, something like this, that is below 0.8 or 0.8 or 0.8 exactly, then you don't need to worry about multicollinearity issue. But when the correlation value is greater than 0.8, it simply means that there is a serious multicollinearity problem. But if the correlation value is equals to or less than 0.8, then you can just ignore it and proceed with your analysis. But anything above 0.8 means that there is a serious multicollinearity. Also, I want you to take note that this particular test is not sufficient. Of course, it's necessary, but it is not sufficient. You need to make use of the first one, the one I explained in the second video, which is variance inflation factor as well as tolerance. You understand? You can make use of that to support this one. Don't just rely on this particular results. Now let's go back to the results. If you look at it here, we have inflation, which is 1. But if you look at the relationship between exchange rates and inflation, it is less than 0.8. So that means the two variables are not collinear. It means that there's no multicollinearity issue between nominal exchange rates and inflation. Now let's look at Brent and inflation. You can also see that the correlation value is less than 0.8. So that means the two variables, Brent and inflation, are not collinear. Also, if you look at WTI, look at it, you see that the value is less than 0.8. It simply means that there is no multicollinearity issue between WTI and inflation. Now let us look at nominal exchange rates and Brent. This is nominal exchange rates. this is Brent's. If you look at the value here, this is where they intersect. If you draw a line here down and you draw another line, horizontal line here, this is where they intersect. So this is the correlation value, and if you look at it closely, you will see that it is less than 0.8. So that simply means that Brent and nominal exchange rates are not collinear. Also, let us look at that of WTI and exchange rate. This is exchange rate here, and this is WTI. The value is 0.0844, which is less than 0.8. So that simply means that these two variables are not collinear. That means there is no multicollinearity issue. Now let's jump to Brent. If we look at Brent, the intersection here is WTI, and if you look at it, you will see that the value is 0.9772, which is greater than 0.8. So since this value is greater than the threshold point, which is 0.8, then we can conclude that WTI and Brent are collinear. That is, there is a multicollinearity issue between these two independent variables. So the next thing is to drop one of these two variables. So once you drop one of these two variables, or once I drop one of these two variables, I will certainly eliminate this problem. Also, I can use a centering approach. I can take even if I take the long, the problem will persist. I can use other methods which I explained here earlier. These are the methods that can be used to address multicollinearity issue. The first one is dropping one of the variables. I can drop one of the variables, but before I drop one of the two variables, I must first identify the one that is key, the major variable, the major independent variable. So if WTI is the one that is major in this particular analysis, I can just drop Brent. But the fact that I drop Brent doesn't mean that I won't be able, or that I will not use the variable in my analysis at all, or in my study. I can now estimate another variable, another model. Let's say the first model now is this one. I retain Brent here. So in the second model, I will take away Brent. So I will now have two models instead of having a single model. So with this, I've addressed the issue of multicollinearity. So now when I execute this, you can see all the values are less than 0.8. Also, if I execute this, you will see that all the values will be less than 0.8. The highest is 0.59. So now I can conclude that there is no multicollinearity issue problem with this model, also with this particular model. Also, if I like, I can execute this particular one if I need the significance value. So to do that, I'll just analyze this and estimate. You can see that this one gives me the significant value, and it stars all the one with significant value less than 5%. If you see this significant value is less than 5%, that's why it stars. This one too is less than 5%, that's why you have this asterisk attached to it. This one is less than 5%, you have asterisk attached to it. But if you look at this one, it's greater than 5%, we have no asterisk. But that is not our concern, you understand. Our major concern is this correlation value, you understand. All these correlation values, they are the things that we look at. So if you like, you can ignore these parts and just execute this. Our goal is to establish that the model is free from multicollinearity issue. So in case you don't want to drop any of the dependent variable, you can also combine it. You can combine these two variables, Brent and WTI. You can use the principal components approach. You just come up with an index that will represent the two variables. Also, you can use the mis-centering approach by using this particular code. I've explained it in the first video. Please identify that video and just follow the process I explained, all the steps I explained there. Another thing you can do is to make use of rich regression approach or principal components regression approach. So with this, we have come to the end of this particular video tutorial. Please, if you have any question, kindly make use of the comment section to post your question, like our video and share it with your friends and your colleagues. Thank you.